Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. As you've seen for the last 4 episodes, we've been working on Project Totaled Suburban. So this episode we're going to do something a little different since it's completed. I want to go over the numbers with you. How much the insurance company paid us for the car since it was totaled, what it cost to buy it back and to pay it off because we did have a little bit of a loan left on it still, how much our parts were for paint, quarter, body panels, Bondo, things like that, why we decided to fix it up versus just letting it go to the insurance auction or buying it back and parting it out, and things that I wasn't happy with at the end of the project. There's always a few things that don't quite go the way I think they should, but that's life. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you got any questions about buying a salvaged vehicle from the auctions or repairing your vehicle and maybe just got hit and salvaged out. Leave a comment down below. I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. With that being said, let's get to the numbers. Alright, so the insurance company paid us out $15,069. Roughly $14,000 of that was for the car itself. The remainder was registration, wheel tax, things like that, sales tax. To buy it back, it was $2,500. And we did have a small loan on the vehicle of $2,559. So we paid that off, and that left us with roughly $10,000 to work with to put the car back together, or go buy a new car, depending on which way we're going to go. We're going to buy the vehicle back one way or the other because I already had the ECO unlocked with HP tuners. It was a good running motor. Trans worked good. So worst case scenario, we'd part it out and I'd shove the drivetrain in the corner for a future project. So we had $10,000 to work with. We got it in the garage. The quarter panel had already been cut off from the body shop to assess the damage. And so we kind of looked at it and we're like, I don't know, it doesn't look that bad. I think we can fix it. Everything kind of seemed like it lined up pretty well. So we started cutting into it. We peeled the rest of the quarter panel off, broke the port of power out, started pushing that uniside structure straight. It went back incredibly well. It went back better than I thought it would go back. It almost went back perfect. So at that point I said, this is good, we can fix it, and we started ordering parts. So for our parts list, we bought a GM quarter panel that was $868. We bought the uniside lower extension off of eBay. Thanks to the GM plants going on strike in the wintertime, January, February, and then COVID happening, everything was backed up. I could get a quarter panel in 2 days, but I couldn't get all the small pieces for 2 weeks at best. So I went on eBay and I found all the small pieces, and with the hopes of getting them sooner. And I did get them quicker. I got one piece in a week and one in like a week and 3 days. So I for sure cut out 4 days or so from our waiting time. So we got the inner quarter panel extension. That was a lower piece that went down and covered the rocker area. That was $54.52 off eBay. I ordered a bumper off of eBay, just a cheap knockoff, which wasn't very cheap. It was $387.12. Not knowing that there is a difference between the LS, LT, those are the same bumpers, and then the LTZ is a different bumper. So that being said, we got that bumper all done, sprayed it all in silver, had it ready to go, went to put it on, we were putting it back together, and it's completely different than the other bumper. Looks similar, you know, if you're just sitting there not looking at them closely, but the LTZs have that little cover that covers the receiver hitch. Did not know that there was a difference in the bumpers, so I had to eat that cost, so don't make that mistake. So then luckily we lucked out, and the junkyard had just got in a 2012 silver Suburban LTZ. It was burnt really bad in the front, but we were able to get a weather stripping, the side vehicle alert sensor bracket that was broken, and the rear bumper off of that. And that what ran us roughly $300, a little under $300 at the junkyard. All of our total paint supplies, which included primer, body filler, another gallon of primer, epoxy primer that I didn't really use. I only used about yay much to stop the lift from happening, which that'll be used for future projects. So whatever. We bought it for this project, so we're going to count it. Sandpaper, masking tape, scuff pads, you know, all the stuff, the window tape to put the quarter glass back in, the double-sided sticky tape to put the side moldings and trim pieces back on. We had $633.84 into that. The axle from a 2004 is different, so the axle shaft was not right, so we had to go buy a new axle shaft kit, which came with the axle, bearing, seal, and wheel studs. That was $284. And then we had another $308.73 in miscellaneous parts, replacing things like we had a brake light out, cavity wax that we sprayed down in between all the panels just to make sure if any moisture got down in there that we didn't have any issues with rust in the future, because the last thing I want is my bodywork to rust, and just other little bits and pieces that kind of just you have to get the thing done. So that being said, our total investment with paying the car off and buying it back ended up being $8,868. So our walkaway price redoing this car was $6,200 roughly. So we made $6,000 buying the car back, paying it off, and fixing it up. Now that wasn't $6,000 for free. That was a ton of work. I probably have close to 60 hours in it, including doing the driver's side rust patch removal and repainting the quarter panel on that side twice and all that stuff. So it was not free money, but I mean there was at least 60 hours into it. So it was well worth it in the long run, because we didn't have to go car shopping again, which is terrible. And we were able to get what we think or know is a good running car back on the road again. Things that I was not happy with, or things that didn't go the way I thought they should have. Obviously, anytime you paint in a garage like that and don't, especially in the summertime around here, there's bugs everywhere, and don't have a booth with plastic everywhere, you're going to end up with dust and bugs and all that stuff. So bugs were an issue. We fought that, but that's to be expected, you know, working in the environments that I paint cars in. The one thing that, or I guess there's two things that I'm not really happy with how they turned out, but you can't really notice them, so it's not that big of a deal. On the driver's side patch panel, where the paint had lifted when we went to repaint it the second time, it had really dug down pretty deep and put some pretty good sized grooves, you know, or whatever, low spots in there. So when we went to seal it, lock it in, we sprayed it with primer, high build primer, and then wet sanded it out again. I didn't quite get that body line perfect, and you don't notice it except for when it's in the perfect sunlight. There's a little bit of a dip in it, so that bothers me. There's a little bit of a run on the top of the passenger side door, the rear door, that I didn't get wet sanded all the way out, but it's not that big of a deal. And then the passenger side Wheelwell Arch lip. So we had to put a little bit of filler on the Wheelwell Arch where it kind of pinched, where we pinched it, and it kind of puckered up and made a wave. So when we did that, put filler on it, but in order to make it not look like it had a step into the Wheelwell Arch there, I had to run a nice tight bead of body filler in that Wheelwell Arch, thinking it would all be covered up by the plastic. It was not covered up by the plastic. Probably, whatever, half of the top half is exposed. So I just roughed it in with 80 grit and said, screw it, it's good enough. So if you look in the wheel well, you can see some pretty heavy sanding scratches. Not that big of a deal. Nobody notices it unless they're really looking at stuff. So I'm not terribly worried about it, but, you know, pay attention to your wheel well openings and arches. I've got terrible stuff in the Chevelle that I'm not happy with, and then again on the Suburban. So for future reference, I will always remember to make sure I clean all that stuff up really well, because you do see it. So all in all, it was a lot of work, and it was hotter than hell the 2 weeks that I was in the garage working on. The 2 weekends, it was I think 110 heat index. I don't have an air conditioner there, and I just sweat my ass off the whole time. But well worth it in the long run. We didn't have to go car shopping. We didn't have to more than likely take another loan out, or to buy something different, because we couldn't find anything comparable in that price range. Don't have to deal with paying sales tax and all that stuff again. So good deal. We also bought into the new rims for it. I forgot to say that in there because that was on the list too. So two of the rims were, one of them was ruined in their accident, and then the other one was the chrome was peeling so bad that it was leaking air, and we just had to constantly fill it up with air. So there's no point in buying two new silver rims. We bought some replica factory style rims that were matte black. That's what the wife wanted. Got those, just swapped the rims over. That cost us $130 to do that, so that's all included in that total there. But yeah, we've got a nice, reliable car that looks like nothing ever happened to it. So don't be afraid to get out there and take on these projects. It's a lot of work, but the reward is well worth it in the long run. I mean, we were able to buy some parts for Project Prelude with some of this extra money we had. So just get out there and try it. If you got any questions, shoot me a message. I'll be more than willing to help you out, or as best I can. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.